Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Talking Reds, where we bring the latest Liverpool news and transfer news. MARC GUEHI news tonight, guys. MARC GUEHI is close, according to reports, to join the Reds. Apparently, personal team terms have been agreed between Liverpool and MARC GUEHI. We'll talk about a little bit of Darwin Nunez as well. Darwin Nunez and Napoli. Napoli are still annoyed at the fact that Liverpool are not budging on the Darwin Nunez sum, the figure that they're asking for. So they may have to turn their attention to someone else at this rate. So see if Liverpool can put their price down a little bit on Darwin Nunez, a little bit on Hugo Ekitike as well, and the interest in the Eintracht Frankfurt striker. Obviously, we've been linked with Alexander Isak heavily in the last couple of nights, couple of weeks. But Hugo Ekitike has been the one that's been the most reported in recent months to Liverpool. So that's come out again a little bit on as well, Tyler Morton, where he could go. And Harvey Elliott's price. How much is Harvey Elliot worth? And where could he go? And also, one more report came out just about half an hour ago on Ibrahim Konate apparently rejecting a contract offer from Liverpool. So let's get on to the biggest story of today then, MARC GUEHI and the potential of him joining Liverpool. So, according to Dave O'Cop, I think it was it Dave O'Cop? Let's have a look. I think it was Dave O'Cop. But yeah, I'll get this one out first. So Nico Shira, a journalist, has said that apparently Liverpool have reportedly agreed a 5-year contract with MARC GUEHI, and the centre-back is pushing for a move. I think it was Dave O'Cop that said personal terms have been agreed between Liverpool and MARC GUEHI specifically. So what needs to happen now, basically, guys, is Liverpool and Palace to agree on a fee. I think we've known for quite a while, haven't we, fees, that it's been reported for quite a week or so now, that MARC GUEHI is happy to join Liverpool. MARC GUEHI wants Liverpool. MARC GUEHI is happy to leave Palace and potentially pushing Palace. Is not going to sign a new contract with Palace. It is all on the fee now. Do you think Palace might budge on the fee that they're asking for?
I think they will, but I think both teams will have to compromise. So I don't think they're going to get 50. But I don't think Liverpool's going to be able to get him for 35. I'm more looking at in the middle. So I'm more looking at 40 million up front with maybe 5 million add-ons or bonuses. Or maybe 42, 43 with 4 or 5 million. But I don't think Liverpool's going to give them 50. And I don't think Liverpool's going to get them 35. Obviously, I read something that he was having meetings with Slot and the team recruitment, and Slot was going to show him the plan, similar to what the plan is, what the aspirations are, similar to what he did with Wirtz. So I knew kind of when I saw that he'll be a fool to say no. Obviously, he wants first team football, but I see it as whether you're going to get loads of game time or not, Liverpool's coming for you. For me, that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I get you got to look at your playing time, but you will get games. But you can't come in and say, "Oh, I want first team." You can have ambitions to want first team football, but there's a pecking order. You got to earn that. Obviously, you're stepping up from Crystal Palace. Obviously, you're Crystal Palace boy to Liverpool. So for me, it's a no-brainer. When does that opportunity come again? And you would regret it. So, and the position we're in right now and the way we're moving and how things are going, it makes sense. I think it's a good deal for both. And yeah, I do expect that to get done. I still think there'll be a bit of negotiations because Liverpool's not going to want to give them 50. But I know Steve Parish is not the easiest guy to deal with in negotiations. He's quite stubborn himself. So I don't think it'll be 35. I think it'll be around 40 million with 5 million add-ons or bonuses.
I think regarding the playing time as well, I think if you come into a big club, if you come to a big club, you can't expect playing time. You probably know that when you join them. But what you got to do is about competition and about winning your place in the team. Like, look, for example, we've done it before. Luis Diaz coming in when Mane was here. Luis Diaz did enough in that first few months to say, yeah, he deserved to start. And eventually, then they put Mane going forward. They put Mane as a striking position. So I think with GUEHI, and we said it the other night when we were looking at formations and tactics, there's a way we could play possibly sometimes at a free at the back. I'm not saying we're going to set up with that. I think there's times where Slot could play that with a GUEHI, a Konate, and a Van Dijk. That's if we keep Konate, that is. But I think with Slot this season, we've said it before, he's going to find different ways and different tactics to beat teams. He's not going to fully go on 4-2-3-1 and stick with that. There's going to be games where he's going to change in game. There's going to be games where he might set up different, like he did against Man City last season with 2 10s. And I think he could use the 3 at the back system with 2 wing backs at some point. And again, Guehi there would easily slot into that. A ball playing centre back alongside Virgil. I think that absolutely works, and it takes a lot of pressure then off a Gravenberch.
I was gonna say it takes pressure off Virgil as well, because that means he shouldn't have to play every game. We know what a caliber of player Virgil is, generational, but he is getting older, so I think we kind of need to ease up running him into ground. Say if we've got a game, for example, against a Plymouth, you shouldn't have to see a Virgil, or you shouldn't have to see. Yeah, I mean, he should be able to get some rest, and that's the kind of step up, the kind of quality, the kind of depth you kind of want. You want to be able to have 3 or 4 centre backs that can play at the elite level. Obviously, yeah, they're not on necessarily the same level as Virgil or the first 2, but I do think Gay can push Konate. I think Konate is the better centre back for me. I think Gay's better on the ball. I think he's better as a defender. But I contradict myself there. I think he's better as a defender, but I think Konate is. For me,
I get what you mean. Yeah, I get what you mean.
I think he's the better centre back for me, but that doesn't mean that he can't become that. I know a lot of people think, oh, there's no way he can, whereas I disagree. I think Konate kind of needs to watch for that position. Obviously, we've got to wait and see what happens. He's got a year left, but I do think it'll be interesting to see them 2 battling it out for that position to be Van Dijk's permanent partner.
You got to remember as well that Virgil makes everyone better. Play alongside Virgil, he could get to a level you don't realise he's going to get to. He could easily get better at playing alongside him. I think Guehi's a perfect centre back, because I don't think I think him and Konate are quite close. I don't think it's that much of a drop off between them both. And I think also Guehi's got the leadership skills, got the ball skills. He's already had the experience. He's in England international now, probably maybe England's best centre back currently. So I think he's got everything that you need to push Konate, and also because he does play the left hand side usually for Palace and for England, I think he could at times rest Virgil, because we haven't been able to rest Virgil at all. Also, the drop-off's going to be big anyway, regardless who you rest for Virgil. Virgil's a different level. But it's not a massive, massive drop-off to where, like, panicking. You know what I'm saying? And Guehi's a very good, astound Premier League centre-back in his own right. Guys, this sort manager want the project striker like Ekitike. I told you he would waste VVD and Salah 2 years contract. The same moment states like Nunez. Why go and get top strikers? This is crazy. I think I'm going to go on to the Ekitike thing. So I'm not happy about how we're like trying to hold back in terms of trying to, not the Nunez situation. That's really annoying me. The fact that we're trying to put a huge price on Nunez instead of just saying, look, get him gone. I think we are trying to recoup as much as we can. I think they're thinking about a balance box, if I'm honest. So we'll go on to Nunez and Ekitike in just shortly. But yeah, MARC GUEHI, I think that is certainly a deal that I've said it a couple of nights now, but I think that is probably the deal that's going to be done next. If you are going to get a here we go, it probably will be MARC GUEHI. And again, it all comes down to Palace and their movement. And this is what we talked about. I talked about with Naj the other night. It's a bit hypocritical of Liverpool to do this. We're asking Bayer Leverkusen to drop their money. They did do that. We asked Bournemouth to move a little bit their money down. They're asking price down for Kirkers. They did that. We're doing the same with Palace, but then we're not using that same logic with Nunez.
I hear. So what is it you want to speak right now? The Nunez? Is it the Nunez?
I was saying, like, regarding Palace, I think. Do you think they have every right to put that sort of money on GUEHI as well? I spoke about this tonight. I think obviously he's their captain. Is he integral to Palace?
If he had more than a year left, yes. But the fact he has a year left, no, you don't really have weight like that for me, because you either take that amount that's going to be given or he goes in a year's time. And for me, I don't think he wants to leave with bad blood, and I don't think they want to part ways with bad blood. If you sold him, like I said 2 years ago, Spurs, I think Spurs came in with around 70 million or something like that, and someone else, I can't remember who the other team was, who bidded for him, and obviously they were in a more stronger position, but you didn't want to let him go. Maybe you couldn't afford to let him go because he's your captain. But I think right now you can't really command 50. He's got a year left. That's like us. As much as say Konate's got a year left, I would want to take 70 or 80. You can't command that. Be lucky if we was able to get 60 million or even 50. So when you get silly bids under 50, it's a little bit disrespectful, but at the same time, it's part of the game. The game's the game. When you got less than a year left, people are gonna come in with less than that because they see it as we're in a stronger position. We kind of hold all the cards. We can either get the player now, or we get the player on a free. So I get they've got pride, but you're not really, you're not in the strongest position. Liverpool are. And even Gay, he's got more power than Palace because he can go in a free in a year's time. So
is it? Yeah, I mean, Liverpool are in the driving seat right now with this. They could either wait a year and get him for free, or they can hold out and hopefully Palace drop a little bit of money off. I think they will do that in the end. I don't think they want to lose out on the money that they're going to get anyway for him rather than losing for free next season. But what the thing with Palace, though, I think also it's their captain. You've got to remember that it's their captain, it's their leader, it's an integral part of the team. So I understand the stubbornness on it, but I think they will move a little bit. I think they will, but not too much. I don't think they'll go, like you said at the beginning, Liverpool asking for 35. Not going to accept that. There's not a chance. I think Liverpool need to, like I said, consider it a little bit, consider why they're put such a huge price on him, and then I think Palace might drop as well. I think there's going to be. I can't see Palace being as stubborn as a Newcastle with Isak, for example. I think they might be happy to let him go at some point, just because if Guehi wants to come, then I think they'll respect that. He's done what he can at Palace. He's took him to an FA Cup final and win, so that is as good as it gets for me. And also, they are also just signed, or they are apparently signing the Portuguese Diamande, obviously from Sporting Lisbon, according to a source in Portugal. So that he's potentially on his way for 55 million euros to Palace. So that pretty much to me says, yeah, you've got a little bit of a free run there to go out. Big up Damon, big up Reese and the chat. Please remember like on the way in. Thank you so much, DB. Hope you're well tonight. Hope you're well. Also, big up panel, said Robbie as well. Big up. And Arteta in address. Hope you are well as well, my friend, with the waving sign coming in. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Make sure you do, like DB said, hit that like button on the way in. And also, if you are new, you want all the latest Liverpool news and more Liverpool content coming out as well, then hit that subscribe button if you haven't done already. So let's get on to Mr. Darwin Nunez and Ekitike. We'll talk about Nunez and Ekitike together because it comes hand in hand. Both strikers, both certainly looking at Ekitike because of the Darwin Nunez leaving. So according to Fabrizio Romano regarding Hugo Ekitike, Liverpool are working on this deal. They're discussing the possibility of adding Hugo Ekitike to their squad. The idea of Liverpool is to have one more striker. They are waiting to understand what happens with Darwin Nunez, with conversations ongoing with Napoli. Liverpool can add a new striker, so Hugo Ekitike remains on the list of the club. Ekitike is on the list for Liverpool, but there's nothing in terms of a deal happening today or tomorrow, said as well. So Ekitike has been, Reece, he has been the most reported about when it comes to strikers in Liverpool in the last few months. He has been number one regarding reports. Our number one dream signing is clearly Isak. He's number one in terms of the list. But because Ekitike is quite a similar profile to Isak, the way he plays, not as good, but the way he plays, it's understandable why he's probably number two in the list.
I don't think he's number two.
Do you not?
No.
Who are you thinking, Ottoman?
I think, Victor. I think Osimhen is number two. I think Ekitike is three.
Do you think it's because of the difficulty of the deal of Osimhen and Isak possibly pushes Ekitike a little bit further up in terms of chance?
Maybe, but the thing is with Osimhen, I don't think the deal's that difficult. If you really want Osimhen, you can kind of use that as part as the Nunez for negotiations with Napoli. He's under contract at Napoli. Napoli want Nunez. Obviously, Liverpool want minimum around 50 million for Nunez. For me, they could use some sort of leeway there where you get a player plus cash and a swap. But because I think Osimhen's number two, that's the reason I don't think they're trying to pursue him in the deal. If he was number one, I think this Nunez thing would have been done already. Osimhen would have been on his way. But I think because the dream signing, the superstar signing that they want to hold out for is Isak. And also, it doesn't look like we're going to get a striker until Nunez leaves. Similar to like a lot of the reports of MARC GUEHI that weren't going to get done until Kwanzaa got completed. And obviously that got completed either today officially or yesterday. So like we said, I think that would be the next move. But I think personally it's Isak 1, Osimhen 2, Ekitike 3. I think they've spoke, from what it sounds like, they've spoke to all three of them. I think they've probably let them know the situation, and I think it's just a question of they're trying to see. Obviously, I think there's a chance with Isak, even though people still say it's a slim chance. Obviously, he's come out from what it sounds like. Obviously, he ain't had it confirmed, but there's things saying that he has said that he wants to leave. Obviously, they don't want to let him go. But you're seeing Newcastle struggle to get any kind of players, any bids they're making for any sort of players. That it's being rejected, and a lot of players, if they have the choice of Newcastle or someone else at the minute, they seem to be turning Newcastle down. So I think something's got to give at some point. I know they don't want to let him go, and their fans are stubborn, and they got a lot of pride. But you got to bear in mind, you got your League Cup. Really, you got to call that final the Isak Cup. I know Newcastle were miles better than us, played us kind of off the park, but wanted it more. But he's the one who got the goals, got them over the line for that. He got your Champions League back to back. For me, I think he's played his part. I know they got aspirations and goals, but like I've said before, we're Liverpool. It's for me, there's a massive difference between Liverpool and Newcastle. So I just think that, like I said, they spoke to all three. Isak's one, Victor Osimhen's two, Ekitike is three. The only reason I don't really want Osimhen, like I've said before, is I think he's a project player. And if that's the case,
Ekitike.
Ekitike. Yeah. I think he's a project player. So if that's the case, you might as well keep Nunez. And I think where we're at, if we're trying to retain the league and we're trying to win more trophies, I don't want no more project players. So for me, he's not ready now. Osimhen and Isak are. So if we do get him, I'll be very disappointed. So yeah,
I think project players work if there's someone in front of him already.
No, man. For me, you don't go and buy what.
Yeah, as I say, the striker that we need that right now is it needs to be the main guy.
You don't go and buy Wirtz, and for me, I'm sure they've told him about some of the things they're trying to do. So he's got expectations, he's got promises there. You don't go and do that, and you just go and sign Ekitike. For all I know, he could come in and hit the ground running. I just think it's very unlikely. I still think it's going to take him at least a year to adapt to the league. He's got to adapt to the environment. He's got to adapt to the language. I think Osimhen's all-round game, he's ready now. He scores all types of goals, same as Isak. They're at that stage. They're about to hit their peak. They're both 26. He's still young. He's still growing. He's still learning, figuring out his game.
I think what is problem with Isak though as well, not Isak, Osimhen, is what DB brought up, and that's probably the wages is asking for. Obviously, couldn't agree with Saudi Arabian team. Was it which Saudi Arabian team? Was it Al Hilal that was after him?
Yeah.
That was Al Nazir. I can't think which one it was, but they wouldn't agree on the wage terms what they were asking for. And again, Liverpool aren't going to. We're just broken our wage structure for Van Dijk and Salah. They've had to wait years for it. And I think Osimhen has to owe it to himself. If he wants to play at the top level, I think what he should do is simply drop his wages. He's got to. It's a bit like it's quite similar to what Rashford is, with Man United, and he's got to have to go to a different club. Rashford's got to have to go to a different club, but he's got to lower his wages. He's going to accept a wage lowering because Man United are paying stupid wages to him. But if he wants to play football in a decent team, same with Osimhen, he's got to lower his wages. He's got to accept a wage loss. He's got to do that. And I'll happily take Osimhen if he's happy to do that. I think he's much more, like you said, a much more all-round player than Ekitike, much more experienced than Ekitike, much more of a prime player than Ekitike. But if Isak's not available, then yeah, Osimhen is definitely a good option for me. But who chose the targets, Edwards, Hughes, or Slot? Well, they all probably chose together. Probably Edwards and Hughes together, and then also they got to go through Slot as well, because Slot's going to play them. Best way to get Nunez out is a loan deal option to buy. Big up, Jen. How are you doing tonight? Also, yeah, with Nunez, regarding Nunez, someone's actually set it up perfectly. Robbie said there, Napoli has sights on another player, to be honest. According to, I'm so glad he's coming with a Florian Wirtz assist there, because I'm just going to speak about Darwin Nunez. According to Core Sport, which is a journalist in Italy itself. So according to them, Napoli are considering moving away from Darwin Nunez to other targets and due to their major gap in valuation. This is annoying me. And this is what I'm saying about Liverpool asking Palace to drop their... I understand it. Liverpool want their other teams to drop off their money because, like you said, Guehi needed dropping off. Wirtz did that. But regarding Nunez, he is not worth the money we are asking for. We're asking £55 million.
No, isn't it 50?
I thought it was 55.
I was going to say, I'm not taking nothing.
Euros,
I'll be honest.
I'm sure it's £55 million, mate.
I Okay, so I'm not taking like less than 50. I understand it, but that's a massive loss. How I see it, we spent over 80 million on him.
I get that. I get it. I get it. I get it.
I'm not.
And want to balance the books.
I think we're already taking
get rid of him
already by accepting 50 or 55. For me, that's they want him. He's a massive part of their plans. He's an international. It hasn't worked out at Liverpool, but he's an international. Conte sees him as a big part of their plans. Pay the money. Because for me, that means you don't rate him, then you don't really want him because you just want to kind of penny pinch, or we're meant to just take 40-something million for international. I know it ain't worked out for us, but he's still got a lot of value there. He's still got a lot to offer. I think in these other leagues, Italy or Spain, I think it will work if the team is built around him.
Would you take another year of Nunez, or would you take another year of Nunez?
But I'm not worried. I'm not worried if they. I think they're bluffing. I think they're trying to call Liverpool's bluff, but I think if that deal gets scumpered, because it sounds like Nunez's wage demands are quite high as well. It's not only Liverpool that's the problem. Apparently, his wages is 6 million a year. They don't want to pay that. So for me, if it gets messed up, I think Liverpool are gonna tell him, you're gonna have to go to Saudi, mate. So otherwise, you're just gonna rot. You're not gonna play. So for me, it's not just Liverpool that are being stingy. I think Nunez has been stingy with his wages. So I know some fans might think, if you don't go to Napoli, we're going to keep him. He's going regardless. I'm not worried. I promise Nunez is going, because if he stays, he's not going to play. He's not going to see first team. So he's just going to waste away. And for me, is that what you want as a footballer? He's not going to play. I don't see Slot using him at all. You saw how barely he kind of just eased him out last season. He doesn't want him. So if he still ends up being here, like I said, he's not going to play. So I'm not sweating it. I'm not worried about him staying.
I get that. If he did stay, I think Slot would be fuming, but it'd just be the same last season, wouldn't it? He didn't play him last season.
That's what I'm saying. He'll just ease him out. Diaz will play in front of him. He'll end up probably playing Wirtz, even though we don't want to see Wirtz, and then he'll play Wirtz instead of him. There's a few guys, Gatpo instead of him, Jota. That's like 4 players instead of even Solar up front. That's 5. You won't see Nunez play, so I'm not worried. I know it's a bit frustrating because of the players we've signed and the speed we've been moving at in terms of getting Kirkes, Frimpong, and Wirtz. So now we're seeing more links, obviously with a Gay, and we saw how quick that picked up last week and then slowed down this week. So a lot of fans probably think, why is it not done? And then obviously you're hearing stuff with Isak, which would be an absolute dream. I think that we will get a striker and we will get a centre back. I'm not worried. And Nunez will be. Yeah, I mean, adios. I'm not sweating it.
Yeah, I think that's probably the opinion of many of us. I think we will get a striker. I think Nunez will go. It's just, again, if Napoli pay up, then I think he'll go. But then there could be other teams coming in for it. One second, I'll bring Jen's super chat up. Thank you so much, Jen, for your super chat. You are absolutely an absolute star for that. So thank you so much. And like I said, if the channel gets big as we can, Jen, I will make sure the content gets better. Whatever the channel makes, it will always go back into the channel and make sure we can get better content. That's exactly what I want to do here. The bigger the channel, the better the content. Thank you so much for your super chats. Thank you so much. Osimhen is my choice rather than Isak, said Jen as well. I mean, yeah, a few of us do like Osimhen. I think is definitely an option for us, but Isak is probably the dream for most of us. Also, Jen there says she wants Osimhen as a dream, but I think Isak is probably number 1 in terms of Liverpool, but it's getting it done. And again, waiting for Newcastle and crunch talks. That's what's going to happen. Well, that's what we're waiting for. If they break it down in contract talks between Isak and Newcastle, I think Liverpool will be there or thereabouts in that deal. But yeah, why can't Liverpool just offer Newcastle 8 million plus Elliot? Well, Newcastle are one of the teams that do want Elliot, apparently. Liverpool asking for 70 million euros, Robbie, which is it equals to 55 million pounds, I think it is. And they said no less than that, according to a report the other night. We need to take a loss, let him go, said Jen. I think that, mate. I think that. I just don't think Reece thinks that. Reece has got his.
I don't want 55. I want minimum 50. That's what I want. 55.
I'd go as far as 40. Honestly, I'd go as far as 40.
Man, that's a major loss, man.
I know, but I don't give a shit. I want him gone.
You don't give a shit, but you're not running Liverpool, Dame. So it's easy for you to say that.
It is. I don't want him.
Balance the book. I think people are getting carried away because we've signed a lot of guys as well and spent big money. They just think it's going to be like this all the time. It's still, they got a balance. It's still FSG. It's still how they run it. So you got to make some money back. So For me, how much is it? Napoli have offered so far, or what is it? The most they're not trying to, the most they're trying to offer. Do you know the amount?
For Nunez, I don't think they offer more. I
Or is
don't
it
think
they've
I've
offered
seen.
like
I don't think I've seen an
45
offer
or something
made.
like that?
I've not seen a report about that. I think so, but I've not seen it specifically. I've never seen a proper offer being made. Actually, no,
Yeah.
but they are quite away in terms of the valuation. It seems
What I
quite
was
away.
going to say, if it is 45, meet in the middle, similar like the MARC GUEHI, meet in the middle, Liverpool on 55. You meet in the middle at 50, and that's the amount I want. But yeah,
That's a good point from Badger. I think Gakpo is quite similar to Ekitike the way to play, actually. But obviously, the thing Gakpo doesn't do is the running behind the defence.
I don't want two Gakpos.
That is the
I don't want two Gakpos.
Robbie said, "I'd rather take 55 million and the loss on the player." I think I just think everyone wants Nunez gone. If I'm honest, I don't know. Obviously, you get your odd people out there that still want Nunez to stay and still think because he's had his haircut, he's now going to turn into a 30-goal striker. Because we've got Wirtz now, he's going to turn into a 30-goal striker. In fact, no, he's going to miss more chances than he's ever missed before because Wirtz is going to create more. If you think Wirtz coming in is going to get Nunez more goals, he might get him one more goal, 2 more goals, because there's obviously out of chances, out of sheer maths. The more chances you get, obviously, the more chances, but the more chances you're going to put in. But this guy must have averaged at least 6 shots a game sometimes over the last 2 seasons. Nunez in games. When he starts, I remember against Newcastle, had about 9 shots, 9 or 10 shots, and he got like 1 on target. That's not good enough. And I can't have him for another. I don't want to watch Nunez for another season. I can't. I'm not going to accept it. We have paid 71 million for Nunez so far. Can't give him away for 50 million. I get it, Jen. I do get it, Jennifer. I do, but I just want him gone. And I know Liverpool have to be stubborn on it, and I know Liverpool probably want to balance the books like they do, but sometimes you just got to bite the bullet, and it's a mistake made. It is what it is. It's not like it's not like we're not skin. We've got the money. We can let him go for a cut price. For me, I'd go down to 40 million, but I think the overall package should be a bit higher. If it comes in like we do, like 40 million up front, and then maybe like 15 million add-ons, that could be a possibility.
Oh, I don't know if Liverpool will take that, to be honest. Because what's the 50 million add-ons? They might not be guaranteed. They might be based off like if Nunez
wins a league or something, they've got a good chance.
Or if he gets a certain amount of goals, that's not. You would like to think he would, but it's not guaranteed.
Why are they buying it for? They don't think he's going to score.
Huh? No, but that's I'm saying them. But what I'm saying is, if you look, sometimes teams they put in if you get this amount of goals or if you win this trophy, so you're kind of waiting to cash out to see if that happens. If that don't happen, you might not receive them add-ons.
Be like we was with Wirtz, the add-ons that we put on. Leverkusen wanted more guaranteed add-ons, didn't they? Guaranteed to come up, guaranteed to happen. We could be asking for the same thing. Imagine Napoli saying, "Well, we'll give you 40 million, we'll give you 50 million add-ons." All based on goals, like fuck off.
As much
we've seen him play football.
Yeah, as much of it up front as possible. And at the end of the day, if they rate him and like from what it sounds like Conte, because I'm sure they agreed for a fee and personal terms with another striker, their second choice, but they're still trying to hold out for Nunez. So apparently the president and Conte is a big part of their plan. So if he's a big part of your plans, act like it. Show me the money. Show Liverpool the money. I mean, that's how I see it.
I think it should be an offside clause on his contract. Every time he's offside, it's another million.
Yeah, no, that would be a smart bit of business if they will put that in. That would be cheeky.
I'm surprised there hasn't been any noise about Nunez Gyökeres straight swap. I don't want Gyökeres, but they valued the same. Nunez Portugal league proven, so it's a bit odd there haven't been no links. Well, I don't think Nunez will go to Sporting Lisbon. Out of respect to also Benfica, but would he want to go back to Portugal? I think he thinks he's better than what he is, Nunez. I don't think he'd go back to Portuguese league. I think he wants to play in the top 5 leagues.
I think he's got something to prove as well because it didn't work.
Yeah.
Maybe go to another league and show that he's not.
Yeah. I get that. If he goes to Portuguese league and does it again, it's like you've already done it there.
Yeah, that's going to be like that's your level, isn't it? So I think he's going to have a be in his bonnet and want something to prove because he does have a chip on his shoulder. You can see it.
I think regarding Gyökeres as well, though, DB is not the same profile as an Isak. That's the issue. We're looking at players that are quite similar to Isak. Is very, very different to Isak. Is more just getting behind the fence and getting in the box. While Isak does a lot more things and just does that. If we sign Ekitike, how do you feel about it? And how do you agree it is a big mistake? I'm not happy about it, if I'm honest. If he's the guy that comes in, I've always been honest about this. I'd rather him coming in with someone else. If Ekitike could just come in, I'd rather someone else come in alongside him and get rid of Jota and Nunez and have two new forwards. Because I don't think we can rely on Ekitike and Jota as a strike partnership. Not a partnership, but that there are strike options. If Jota was the Jota from like 3 years ago when he was bagging for fun, when he was fit, then I'd rely on it a little bit more. But if it's Jota from last season and his injuries to him as well, it's a bit difficult to rely on him and Ekitike as our options in that position. Nunez, what do you think? Nunez, what do you think? Reece, what do you think? I'll read it in chat.
In terms of, what was the question? Sorry.
Regarding Ekitike, if he were to come in, do you agree that him and Jota as our striking options is not good enough?
No, it's not
if
good
it's
enough.
Jota from last season.
It's not good enough because Jota's injury prone, and then you've got a project striker. Like I said, you might as well keep Nunez with Jota then. So, he's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of potential. Ekitike. I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's rubbish. I'm just saying if we had just got top 4 in a cup and you wanted to get Ekitike, okay, but we went and won the league. If you want to go and retain the league and you want to make a statement, you have to go and get someone of Isak, Alvarez, or Osimhen, someone who's a goal scorer, someone who knows how to finish. They're not going to have a nosebleed when they have one-on-ones. Someone who's not going to miss when a sitter gets put on a plate. They're not going to hit the post. They're not going to sky it because they see someone's running right next to them. When there's pressure really on the line and you're wearing that badge as well, that weight of expectation at Liverpool, someone who knows they back themselves. They're a good footballer. They're not going to come here. They're going to thrive under the pressure. They're not going to think, oh, I don't know if this is for me, or like kind of start doubting themselves, or even lose their head like how Nunez did in that first season when things weren't going right against Crystal Palace and the defender was kind of getting inside of his head. Then he got himself sent off. You need someone with the right temperament, someone who backs himself, someone who knows when there's one-on-one with the keeper, we don't have to worry. We know it's going to be a goal. So, yeah.
Jen said I will have Osimhen and Jota as a pair. Well, I would as well, because like I said, Osimhen's more of a bagsman. So you can rely on him a little bit more when Jota isn't fit. And I don't think also Jota's going to be back up regardless if he stays anyway. But Osimhen, I can rely on Osimhen to go get your goals. Ekitike right now, I can't fully rely on him to be the guy. And again, we don't want, like we said, a project striker. A project player really should be behind someone else. So if like an Osimhen came in, then you can go get an Ekitike and have Osimhen and Ekitike as your striking options rather than Jota and Nunez. That's all right. That's all right for me because Osimhen's the main guy, and then Ekitike's got plenty of time to get better anyway. Ekitike is so risky; he could be the next Isak, but could quite easily be the David Ngog. That's what I'm saying. It's a big risk, and it's hard, isn't it? Because we're either going to go into a season without a striker, Reece, or Ekitike. Which would you rather on that? Would you go without a striker?
I'll be honest, I'd rather go with Diaz as the false 9 and Jota as the backup. I just, like I said, I don't want another project striker. I don't have the patience. Liverpool provided me with the league, and so I don't have the patience. I don't have the restraint. My PTS levels are all-time high of Nunez. I'm still gonna have to deal with this, and a lot of fans are, even when he leaves, because I see some of the shots he misses. I've watched them and watched the highlights, and I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to think like Nunez, to think how. Let me see if I can be understanding. Was it hard? There's too much pain there, so I'm not ready. I'm not ready to be hurt again from another striker that is a project striker. That is someone who's going to need time. Like I said, he's got a lot of potential, but we don't have 2 or 3 years to wait. City have strengthened. Like I said, Arsenal are starting to sign 1 or 2 players now that they'll be there or thereabouts. Chelsea look like they're doing a madness like they always do, trying to sign and steal everyone's players, trying to sign everyone. They got a record label over there, the amount of players they'd be signing. I don't understand. But if we want to retain the league, this is the piece that's very important. These last 2 pieces, I think, is the centre-back and the striker. And then next season, you can address a DM. You can address you can start future proofing for who's going to be replace Salah. But yeah, these next two pieces of the puzzle, we've done really well so far. We almost finished the puzzle for this season, but these two pieces are very important for me. I still think we could win the league if we had Jota and Diaz, but I don't want to rely on that. I want to have Isak, and then you can have.
I think if you don't buy anyone else now, Reece, I think if you don't buy anyone else, it's quite underwhelming. Barvert, it's quite underwhelming.
I wouldn't say underwhelming because I think we're gonna get Gay. I think we're gonna get Mark Gay.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah.
I want to get him. And the thing is, I still think we're gonna get a striker. I think they're not gonna walk away from the table, even regardless of what we feel. I think if we don't get Isak, they go for Osimhen. If we don't get Osimhen, they go for Ekitike. I think we're gonna get one of them. The thing is, I want Isak. Most of us want Isak or Osimhen. Some people might want Ekitike, but I'm sure majority of fans, I think he's the third choice. So I think regardless, we will get a striker.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to walk away. I don't think Slot's going to allow it. I don't think so.
Ekitike is like 6th choice to me. If you ask him,
how much are they asking for now? I remember they lowered it to around 68. Is it still?
It was like 59 million. I think I saw between 57 and 60. I think it was something.
That's
like that.
A bit more reasonable. A little bit more compared to 80. Was it 80?
Yeah, 90, like 80 million. Asking for 100 million. We're talking about as well. Yeah,
ridiculous.
Yeah. Never going to get that. Never going to get that. And LFC fans today, I'd rather Dan's is more of a marksman and also physical with an eye for goal. Ekitike is not all that for me. Jane Dan's, I think he is much more of a bagman, and I think he's much more clinical than Nunez and Ekitike.
I want him to develop, though.
I said that last year when was it? No, when under Klopp. Why don't we play Jane Dan's more when Nunez were playing? I said I'd rather play Jane Dan's and Nunez for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
I'd play Jane Dan's.
I would, but at the same time, I want him to develop. I don't want him to have to come in and deal with that pressure. And he, for all we know, he might come in and thrive under that pressure, Dan's, but that shouldn't be put on his shoulders for me at this stage. I think he should be able to get loaned out. Obviously, his loan didn't work out with Sunderland last season. I want him to be able to get loaned out either to a Premier League team or a Championship team, get a bit more physical and maybe improve your all-round game. And then we can look at you kind of next season as coming in as a backup or someone who plays in like the cups and try and edge your way in that way.
Jen said Isak only happens if he wants it. Yeah, I think that could be I think that will be the case, Jen. I think he's got to push it a little slightly, maybe not disrespectfully, but he's got to push it at least a little bit slightly. And at least we could talk about Isak tonight about Newcastle fans coming in and crying. Every time I talk about Isak, Newcastle fans are not happy about it. LSE fans said a DM issue needs to be addressed this season. I wish so, LSE fan. I do wish so. I don't think we will be looking at DM. I would. I think we need a different kind of DM we need a defensive-minded DM to Gravenberch. And Gravenberch isn't a natural DM, but he's done well playing there. I just think we either need someone to either push him forward or rotate with him. And for me, number one, it's always been the same, Angelo Stiller, because this guy is a passer, and we haven't got that in that space. And I think Angelo Stiller would then also replace what Trent gives us in that area. That would be my preference. What do you think, Reece? Do you think we should go get a DM this season, or are you happy to wait on that?
I'm happy to wait. I think because we've got so much other pieces of the team that we need to sort out, I don't think they're looking at that. I think it's going to be Gravenberch as the main again, but I think Sabozala is going to drop back deeper. That's going to provide support. Some people might even look at that as a new signing. Not me, but I'm not going to look at it as a new signing. But our owners can be shameless, or some of our fan base can even be shameless and be like new signing. But I think that's going to be I think that's going to help Gravenberch. And I still think you've got Percentage. I think they might be looking at this season and try and give him a chance and have him as the backup there. So I'm happy to wait. I think we'll be all right this season to wait, as long as we don't get.
I'm happy with Bajcetic. I do think Bajcetic's better maybe in a box to box.
I don't think he's going to get to play further. I think 6. Because we've got enough 8s. We've got a few 8s. Jen
said here, what about Chelsea youngster we bought Rio? I think Rio will be a first team within at least 2 years.
I think he'll get game time this season in the cup.
I think he will get the game time this season as well. DM options, Zé Emery, absolute baller. Yeah, LC fan. Yeah, he's a very good player. But my preference would be Stiller, because I think we need a passer there. Emery's very good on the ball. Very good on the ball. But I just think as a passer, as someone to sit there in front of defence, I think Stiller's the one for me. And he creates chances from a deep roll, which Trent used to do. I think We've replaced Trent's creativity in Verts in terms of up the field, but in terms of that deep role, I think it still is the perfect one for me. That's my preference, but Zaire is a very good shout, though, by the way, though. Liverpool have set a £40 million asking price of Harvey Elliot with a buyback clause, or 50 million plus without one. I would take the buyback clause.
I think that's good. I think that's a good deal that Liverpool's put out there.
If we can get that done, 40 million in our pockets, plus a buyback clause, I think that's perfect. Because, like I said, Elliot's got so much potential. And if he gets physically stronger and better physically as a player, when out where he's gone, we've always got the option to buy him back. So I think that's the only thing he's lacking, really. Physicality. So that's according to David Allenstein, Reese. Would you take Harvey Elliot back at some point in the future?
I'll take that option, yeah. But I wouldn't blame Liverpool if 50 million came in and they took that too. So I can see either side. I think he's got a lot of potential. I just think with Slot as manager, I don't think it's gonna work. We wouldn't be looking at getting rid of him now. Slot just doesn't trust him physically. So I know he's still, like I said, very talented, got a really high ceiling. I think it's smart if you do have the buyback clause. It's kind of smart for them to put that in. But I just think depending on how long Slot's tenure is, more if the 50 came in, I can understand that as well. I don't see him playing. He won't be no more than a squad player on the Slot. That's all he'll ever be while Slot's manager. If it was Klopp, then it's different. He's got more chance to play, and the system's a bit more different.
Yeah.
He kind of brought Elliot in, and he's a big fan. He was pushing for Elliot. So yeah.
Guys, in the chat, what club do you think Harvey Elliot would suit him? What club would he suit? What club is probably best for him? Brighton, I think, is a very good option. I've always said a Crystal Palace is a very good option because if Eze goes, it looks like Eze could be joining Arsenal, and Elliot fitting right into that role for Palace, I think it'd work. I think it'd work at number 10 for Palace. So I think him at Brighton or Palace. I think Newcastle, a very good option again. With Newcastle, they're like a three in midfield that are hard-working runners. But in terms of games, in other games where they want to break teams down, I think Elliot would do well for them, especially with runners behind him. Elliot needs a free role, almost, with legs behind him. And Newcastle will get that with a Joe Linton, with a Bruno Gomes, with a Tonali. They've got legs, all three of them. Osimhen's release clause expires on the 15th, guys. Probably why there's no movement on that yet, but we are looking at this. Good point, very good point there, LFC fan. Let's see Harvey go abroad with a clause. Brighton or Newcastle said Jen, and Leipzig said LSC fan as well. So yeah, Leipzig will be a good option. I think he's got another crack for me at the Premier League. Harvey Elliott. Another player that could be on the way out is Tyler Morton. Liverpool are valuing him around £15 million. Welcome to Simon Jones at Mail Sport. Ajax, West Ham, and Braga all interested in Tyler Morton. £15 million again, a good price for Tyler Morton. I think he's got again another player probably that can do well at a club. Ajax for me would be a brilliant move for him, though. By the way,
who's managing at Ajax right now?
Eitinga, isn't it?
Who?
John Eitinga, our assistant.
Okay. Oh yes. No, I think that would be a good move.
Yeah.
I think 50 million. That's fair. That's not making you pay over the odds. That's not English tax. And for me, yeah, I think that's fair. I was going to say 15 to 20, but Liverpool asking 15. I think that will get done. He's got a few suitors there, a few teams interested. So for all you know, if they all come in with 15, you might even be able to get an extra couple million. If there's a little bidding war, that might be pushed up to maybe 20 million. So yeah.
Abra says here, go all out for Isak. Personally, I think he wants to move. I think probably deep down he probably wants to move. Don't tell Newcastle fans that though, Abra. Do not speak to Newcastle fans about it. But I think deep down he probably does want to move. But again, is he going to force the move? That is the situation there. I'm surprised. Like a Leeds hasn't come for Tyler Morton. I think Tyler Morton suited Leeds. Obviously, they haven't really replaced Calvin Phillips when he went to Man City. They still could get Calvin Phillips back, actually. But I think a Tyler Morton to Leeds would be a very, very good move for him on the way up. I think Leeds are the kind of club that can build from there. And if they build and get a good foundation, I think they can be a good team in the Premier League. So, yeah, last transfer news of today was Ibrahima Konate. That's from Football Insider. Not a reliable source, guys. Not a reliable source. But according to them, Ibrahima Konate has rejected Liverpool's opening offer of a new contract PSG, Real Madrid, and Al Hilal are all interested, and Liverpool may be forced to accept offers around £40 million if he doesn't sign a new deal. This is a saga that I don't want to talk about as much because obviously it's not a reliable source as such, but it is a saga that it's not going to go away anytime soon, Reece Konate.
No, it's probably you're gonna hear a lot of it throughout the season, similar to Trent. But I'm not sweating it. We spoke about this before. If he stays, great, and they sort the contract out. But I'm not giving him 200k. I don't. From what it sounds like to me, you got to hear what he says because we're not hearing anything from him.
No,
but I don't. I think he wants a new challenge. That's the vibe I feel. I feel I'm getting a similar vibe to Trent's because you're not hearing anything from him. We'll see if we hear anything from him. The last thing you heard from him is that don't believe everything you hear. But for me, come out and say that you want to stay, or we'll see if you accept the contract. But if he does go, I think we'll get someone else. I think, like I said, Mark Guehi will be a replacement for Kwanzaa, and they'll keep Konate for the season. Because for me, I think it makes sense to keep him instead of sell him. You're not going to get anyone better right now, and you're only selling for 40 million because he's got a year left. You keep him, you try and retain the league, try and see if you can get maybe win one of the cups, the FA Cup or the League Cup or the Champions League, and then you cut your losses. And he kind of goes his way, Liverpool go their way.
I felt like the thought of another player going for free, mate. If I'm
honest. I hear it, but for me, if you sell him, who are you going to get as a replacement right this minute? If we sell him, you tell me, who are we going to get?
Well, if you think about it, the same players that you could get now, we probably have to get next year anyway.
No, but I'm saying, who would you get now? There isn't no one who's better right now to get.
But what I'm trying to say to you, Reece, is next year when it goes to free, who's going to be there next year?
There'll be players next year. You've got Bastoni next year. You've got Slotterbeck. Slotterbeck's coming back from an injury. He needs at least a year to come back from that injury. You've got Bastoni. You've got other players there. For me, there's no one better right now. So it's all right.
There isn't better right now. But what I'm saying is, if we do keep him for another year, then whoever's available next year should be available this year.
Well, Slotterbeck's just coming back from a series.
Apart from Slotterbeck, just the injury. Apart from that, everyone else that you can get next year probably should be available this year.
Those are the only two I'm looking at for me, because I'm looking at a superstar type of centre back. So that's someone with that aura, that kind of stature, which is a Bastoni. I know Bastoni plays in a free, so we would have to kind of see if he can adapt or if he's versatile to play in a two. But those are the two that I would be looking at. I know there's other names, but I'm not just trying to get, like I said.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like,
I'm not trying to get what's it called, a project player at the back who's going to need time to like a duck to water. I'm going to get someone who's ready, who's comfortable in the water, who's comfortable in the sea, who can swim. So
the issue is though, next year when he goes for free, are we guaranteed to get that?
What's that?
Are we going to get a player like that next year?
I think they'll get some. I think they'll get someone, because I think what they'll be doing. I don't know. I can't guarantee if it's Bastoni. I'm not his agent. I don't work.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but a player like that.
But I think I think they'll have someone. They'll be working on someone while they're working on the contract negotiations with Konate. They'll be working on having a plan B or a plan C of having someone else ready there.
I think this could be the possibility. What Jennifer says here: Guehi to replace Ibu, and then we're bringing a young.
Maybe Hato. Yeah, I don't even mind Hato, but the only thing is with Hato is he's a fullback and a centre back. He's not an out and out centre back. So and Hato for me is more, for me, long term a Van Dijk replacement. He's not a Konate replacement. He plays on the left side of the centre back, or he plays left wing back or left back. So for me, if Konate leaves, you need someone on the right side. I know Mark Guehi can play there, but he can play the left side too. So we'll see. That person may be right, but that's what I think anyway. And I think it should be a superstar kind of colossus centre back. You need someone with height, someone with presence, someone with aura, someone physical, similar to Konate, similar to Van Dijk, who's kind of like, when you kind of come up against someone like that, you're kind of feeling a little intimidated. I don't want to get someone you're like, who is he? Or he's not really proven. So the stage we're at in our development in terms of our aspirations, we have to get a superstar.
I think Guehi is going to be the Konate replacement, but that's if Konate goes. But if we keep Konate a year till next year, I don't think there's going to be any different centre backs next year, unless one just comes out of the blue from nowhere. And this is the issue. This is the issue that we made with the DM position, and when we didn't replace other people in the past. He's waited. We waited for Bellingham for 3 years. We're still waiting on a Fabinho replacement. Oh, there's not a DM out there that's like that. There's no DMs that's going to be out next year that isn't out this year, unless you're going to get a 16-year-old coming from an academy somewhere randomly. It's just
right this minute. It don't. In terms of a DM, like a defensive mid, it looks bleak, but a lot can happen in a year. So for all we know, someone can emerge. They might get someone who we've never heard of, and they've scouted, they've done their research.
Yeah, they could do.
And they've watched. Yeah, I mean, he might not be a household name. So the DM, I'm not really worried about. Even centre back, like I said, if Konate stays, he stays. If he don't, we'll have a plan. But I don't think they're going to let him go right now because they don't have a plan to replace him and Kwanzaa. They don't have a plan right now. It's too short notice. So
I think Konate. Yeah, I think we'd have to keep him for a year. I don't want to keep him for a year because I don't want another player to go for free. But again,
if I had to call you on it, though, my question is who, if you sell him, Dame, cool, and you're in charge, you tell me who you're going to go and get. I need a name. You can't tell me, I don't know. I need a name. Because for me, if you want to sell him, that's what I want to know. I need 1 or 2 names. Who are you going to go for?
I think Guehi's going to be the replacement, though. I think it'll be direct replacement.
Yeah, but then if you get rid of him, who are you going to get?
Then you get a young centre back, and like I had to.
I don't think Hato's going this season. I think he's still going to stay there for another season. I think it's better for his development to stay at Ajax for another year. Me personally,
but I think then you'll have Guehi with Gomez behind him, and I think you'll have Van Dijk with Hato behind him. I think that's how it'll work.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's the only way.
I don't think Hato's going this season. I wouldn't want him to go. I think that'll mess up his development. He'll get less games at Liverpool. He's playing regularly. He's the captain at Ajax. I want another year under his belt of experience, of that experience of being a leader, being a captain, playing, like kind of say, just adapting and learning your game a bit more.
Before we go to Hugo, the 2 things have been happening, and that's not in the Liverpool space. Arsenal are close to reaching a verbal agreement with Victor Gyökeres, according to L'Equipe, and Nottingham Forest have reached a deal for Malik Fofana. Well, with Lyon, they've reached a deal with Lyon for Malik Fofana. They're still yet to reach personal terms and agree on personal terms with Malik Fofana himself. But yeah, Forest getting Malik Fofana, Arsenal getting Gyökeres. Movement is starting to happen now. I said it will do. July is here now. PSR has reset.
Is there a price there?
What's that? Sorry.
Is there a price there for Fofana? Does it say?
I'm not seeing a price. No, I'm not seeing a price.
Okay.
No, I'm not seeing a price. And Juventus are closing in on a reachment, Jonathan David as well. So yeah, it's all happening now. July is here. I said it'll all happen in July. Oh, there you go. Arsenal advanced in talks with Victor Gyökeres' 5-year deal, according to Sasha Tavolieri as well. So yeah, I think Gyökeres is going to Arsenal. It seems
they're going to have to pay 80 million though.
But I think they'll put it down. I think they will put it down slightly. I don't think Arsenal pay that 80 million for
I know they're not going to pay it. That's why I said they would have to pay 80 million. So.
If they have agreed a fee with, if they have agreed a Gyökeres deal, as in like personal terms, I think they'll get the money down as well. And they had advanced talks as well with Sporting Lisbon about it. So I think that's going to get done in the next few days, I think. But regarding Liverpool, it looks like MARC GUEHI is going to be the next signing. We haven't talked about Alexander Isak tonight much, Newcastle fans, if you are watching. So it's been a good one for you tonight. But yeah, MARC GUEHI, probably the next signing for Liverpool. Regarding sales, Nunez, Napoli, nothing's happening as such of yet because we're not agreeing on the fee. We need to maybe put the fee down slightly to get rid of Nunez. You want to get rid of Nunez. So Elliot could be going out the door and Tyler Morton as well, leaving as well. Thank you for watching tonight. Thank you as well. Again, like I said, Jen, early on, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you so much for that. And I appreciate everyone in the chat for getting involved and getting in the chat as well. And make sure you do, like I say all the time, like the video if you want to keep up with Liverpool content, and also subscribe if you are new. Thank you for watching tonight, guys. Have a great day. And someone else will be on tomorrow. My pre-season starts tomorrow. My pre-season training starts tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, so speak to you all tomorrow on Thursday for myself, but make sure you join us again tomorrow night at 7 o'clock because someone else will be live as well. Thank you for watching.